Adam was born of a woman, just as all humans are. The Hebrew word for born connects to Adam, Strong 73. This suggests that Adam, the first man, had a mother. Both Jewish and Christian traditions date Adam's birth to about 6,000 years ago, Jews around 3761 BCE, Christians around 4004 BCE. Descriptions of Adam being formed in symbolic or mystical ways come from mistranslations of lost scrolls. Neither the Bible nor the Quran exists in its original form, only later recollections. Scholars sometimes explain contradictions by claiming vowel changes, but the earliest Hebrew and Arabic texts had no vowels. This leaves questions unanswered. Is God male? Why is the deity repeatedly called he and him in Scripture? Angels, too, are presented in Scripture as male beings. For example, Daniel 9:21 describes Gabriel appearing as a man. Quran 19:17 says Gabriel appeared to Mary as a well-proportioned man. The very name Gabriel, or Jibril, means mighty man of God. If angels appeared as men, they must have had the structure of men, chromosomes, DNA, an X and Y pair. Genesis 6 says the sons of God had relations with the daughters of men, producing children. This implies both had compatible human biology, 23 chromosomes from the man, 23 from the woman, creating the normal 46. The Book of Enoch, Jubilees, and Genesis all record that 200 angels descended to Mount Hermon, took wives, and fathered children, giants of great size. These beings corrupted the earth with bloodshed, sorcery, and forbidden knowledge. God then decreed judgment upon them. Many of these ancient texts were hidden or removed from common scripture. Their exclusion prevents believers from fully grasping the story of angels, humans, and giants. This raises difficult questions. If God is called he, does he have gender? Where is God's throne located? When Jesus or Muhammad was said to ascend, where exactly did they go? What does heaven mean physically? Ancient scripture actually gives a clue. Job 9:9 speaks of the constellations, and some texts point to the Sirius star system south of Orion as the dwelling place of God. Quran 53:49 names Sirius, Ash-Shira, as a lord. This suggests that the divine throne or presence was associated with that star system. If so, then Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad were all linked to the same deity, who was worshipped in different forms across traditions. Yet scripture also acknowledges that some sacrifices were offered to devils, Leviticus 17:7, raising the possibility of deception. Over time, the image of this deity became confused with pagan gods such as Pan, Baphomet, and satyr figures, half-man, half-goat beings associated with lust, desire, and mischief. The Hebrew Satan and Arabic Shaitan share roots with these concepts. Thus, many may be worshipping not a transcendent creator, but a powerful being, an extraterrestrial or hybrid, masquerading as God. Humanity, especially people of African origin, called the root race with 9 ether genetics, must guard their DNA from manipulation. These traditions claim that Adam's descendants mixed with other races, producing variations of humanity, some divine, some corrupted. Sexual practices, body exchanges, and cultural conditioning continue to alter DNA and spiritual inheritance. This is seen in the history of Greece, Rome, Europe, and the modern West. Control over reproduction, sexuality, and belief systems is part of what is called the laws of devils, a means to weaken the divine gene and deceive humanity. When we define the word revolutionary, we see that it comes from the root word revolt, which means to go against an existing system, order, or condition. A revolutionary is someone who challenges what is already in place in order to bring about change. For example, the name Mary has been interpreted by some as meaning to rebel. In that sense, Mary could be seen as a revolutionary figure, someone who stood in opposition to what was established. Similarly, great leaders like the Hansons, Marcus Garvey, and others were revolutionary because they refused to accept their environments as they were. Instead, they envisioned something better for their people and worked to bring it about. So, can we say that the meaning of revolutionary depends on the perspective of the person and the nation? Yes, because revolution is not always one-dimensional. Still, at its core, it means resistance to oppression and striving for change. For instance, Marcus Garvey is remembered as a revolutionary because he resisted systems of oppression and fought for African pride and self-determination. It's important to recognize that revolution isn't necessarily violent. We are in a revolutionary cycle today, not by arms but through knowledge and information. Real power lies in raising the consciousness of people, because systems are maintained by the majority being controlled by a small minority. When people's minds are awakened, they can no longer be controlled so easily. This is why information is key. Changing minds changes systems. Even the U.S. Constitution acknowledges that if a government fails to serve its people, it is the right of the people to establish a new one. That principle itself is revolutionary. Throughout history, each cycle of revolution has looked different. For example, the Black Panthers armed themselves during their time because that was the strategy required for that cycle. Today, the revolution is mental, spreading truth and knowledge to empower the next generation. Sometimes misunderstandings happen because we don't fully grasp the origins or deeper meanings of words. That's why defining revolutionary clearly is important. It's about rebelling against injustice and creating change, whether through arms, organizing, or the power of ideas. You are 24% dark matter of this one universe, ever expanding within 76% dark energy. You are the carbon of life, coal, atomic number C6. You are hydrogen, H1, that ignited to become helium, He, atomic number 2. You are nitrogen, N7, and oxygen, O8. These were the original elements necessary for life to form. H1 plus E2 plus C6 plus N7 plus O8 equals 24. The 24 for Earth, the 24 genomes, the code of living matter. All things have their physical base in black carbon, birthed in triple darkness, out of the black hole. Dark matter, 24%, and dark energy, 76%. From this balance, the universe of the omniverse was born. The All is infinite. The All transcends space, matter, and time. Yet the All is not separate from them, for all is contained within it. Time itself is illusion. A moment precedes a second. 60 seconds make a minute. 60 minutes make an hour. But only now exists. Past and future dissolve into now. All exists even before the first moment of time. All is omnipresent, never absent. Absence implies separation, but nothing can be outside the All. Space itself is within the All. The All is not limited by space, time, or matter, not even by the vast vacuum of the multiverse. Religions speak of God upon a throne, in heaven above, as written in the Bible and the Quran. Scriptures describe the Lord seated among hosts, ruling from a throne beyond creation. But if their deity sits in a place, on a throne, in a heaven, then that deity is limited, bound by space and location, unable to be truly omnipresent. The God of Abraham asks, "Where are you?" Genesis 3:9, "What have you done?" Genesis 4:10. Thus, such a being is not all-knowing nor all-seeing. The true All needs not to descend nor inquire. The true All is ever present, within and beyond all. We are not worshippers of illusion. We are the All of all. We are the 24% dark matter carried by 76% dark energy. We are carbon-based life, born of the seed of the black. The original people, the African black woman, the mother of earth, are the source of all humankind. From her mitochondria came all races, all nations. Others hold faith in gods they cannot prove. They follow prophets, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Joseph Smith, yet each is bound to their time and people. But their last warnings have passed, their times are ended. Only now exists. We are space, time, and matter. We are both dark matter and dark energy, the essence of creation itself. Matter is physical, touchable, visible. Energy is vibrational, felt, unseen. Together they are one, as we are one with the universe, the micro and the macro reflections of each other. We are the seed of all, the children of blackness, the All of all. We are the universe itself. Science doesn't teach us that, we are the universe. If you go to a scientist and ask, what is dark matter? What is dark energy? The most honest answer they'll give you is, we don't know. There are actual percentages of dark matter and dark energy in existence. Dark matter is what scientists can detect in space. Dark energy is different, it can't be seen directly, but they infer its presence. For example, when light bends or warps in space with no visible cause, they say, there must be energy here that we can't see. Think about music. You can feel the energy in music, it can move you emotionally or physically, but you can't see that energy. The same principle applies in the universe. Dark energy is only seen when it affects light passing through space, even though nothing visible is there. Before the hydrogen atom, what existed? Energy had to slow down to form quarks, which then gave birth to hydrogen. That's the root of matter. 9 ether is the combination of all existing gases of nature. As 9 etheric beings, we embody that combination, we are dark matter made manifest. On the gaseous level, we are 9, meaning the highest point, the pinnacle of existence. All life comes from dark matter and dark energy. But not everyone embodies the full combination of gases in nature as we do. That's why we are the pinnacle, the substance that holds the universe together. If we were removed, the whole universe would collapse, because we are that magnetic force keeping it in balance. When we interact with others, their energy can uplift or drain us, positive or negative, but it's all still part of that same dark energy. In different traditions, this energy is called chi, Chinese, prana, Indian. It permeates everything. Scientists can't detect ether or dark energy directly. They can't measure what they don't understand. We must reason from the unknown to the known. Just as early scientists thought the Earth was flat, only to later confirm it was round, today's scientists will eventually confirm what Wu-Sabat is already teaching. Right now, scientists openly admit, we don't know what dark energy is. Just like they later confirmed humanity's oldest remains were in Africa. In fact, many scientists now say openly that Africans are the first humans, and some even admit only Africans are fully human, without Neanderthal or Cro-Magnon traces. When we speak of quantum physics, it is finite. It describes atoms and subatomic particles, their entanglement, and their ability to exist in multiple states at once. Quantum entanglement shows the connection between all things, the etheric cord. Whatever happens here also affects elsewhere. But the all is beyond quantum limits. It is infinite. 76 trillion years a reference point, a way to express vastness beyond comprehension. Our current universe is about 24 billion years old, but the black dot, the source, predates it, giving rise to countless galaxies. Within our universe, there are 19 primary galaxies connected to us. Just as with planet Rizq and tri-solar systems, once dismissed as myth but now being confirmed, these truths about dark matter, dark energy, and our connection to the all will also be confirmed. So when someone asks, what is dark energy? What is dark matter? The answer is simple: I am, we are. Belief is ignorance. Faith is ignorance. Knowledge comes only through confirmation and facts. If you have to rely on faith, hope, or belief, it means you do not know. Without proof or evidence, belief is just ignorance dressed as truth. It is fine to wish, desire, or hope for things in life. But when it comes to our soul, destiny, and outcome, only knowledge and confirmation matter. Religion often asks for belief and faith, but these words hide the absence of truth. You can believe anything, and still be completely wrong. Confirmation births real confidence. Proof is what makes something true, not belief, not faith, not fantasy. Reality is built on facts, not illusions. Evidence of truth is found in our experience, bloodline, DNA, and history. Pyramids, tombs, temples, writings, and images show us ourselves, our faces, lips, hair, and colors. This is confirmation of who we are, not the worship of unseen gods or spirits that demand fear, sacrifice, or blood without ever being seen or confirmed. For thousands of years, religions have said, "He is coming soon." Yet people continue to suffer: wars, racism, poverty, disease, children dying. Believers pray, but still the world suffers. That is the spell of ignorance, waiting for help that never comes. Religion survives by exploiting fear of death. People gather in churches, mosques, and temples because they are afraid of dying, not because they have proof of life after death. Preachers use fear as a tool to control minds. Unlike blind belief, our culture is based on evidence and reason. When you look at Egypt, you see your own people. That is confirmation of your origin and truth. To be free, one must break away from belief systems that glorify unseen gods and racist doctrines. Many scriptures describe God as favoring one race over another, which is proof of man-made prejudice, not divine truth. Accepting foreign gods is accepting foreign domination of the mind. Reality is built on forces called 9 ether and 6 ether. 9 ether represents life, creation, and growth. 6 ether represents death, illusion, and false religion. Belief systems based on 6 ether weaken the mind, while 9 ether restores power, truth, and freedom. The solution to oppression is simple: reject belief and embrace confirmation. Do not accept religious, social, or economic systems designed by others to enslave you. By living according to our culture, the science of experience, evidence, and reason, you reclaim self-rule, mental freedom, and connection to your true ancestral power. Truth is not in belief, hope, or faith. Truth is in what can be seen, confirmed, and reasoned. Freedom requires a free mind, one that seeks evidence, not illusions. The forces of 6 ether are far weaker than those of 9 ether. Just as 6 ether is weaker than 9 ether, so too is semen, once called liquid gold, now diluted and less potent due to its mixture with lower ethers, 8, 7, and 6. Much has been lost. About 6,000 years ago God, or ghost forces, initiated the creation of what is now known as the Caucasus race, beginning with the birth of Canaan. From this lineage arose groups like the Celts and Germans, who later claimed to be Aryans. They altered ancient traditions, changing the Hindu deity Krishna into Christ, and spread Christianity to captives. When Christianity did not fully serve them, they turned to Judaism and then to Islam. Yet behind each of these religions lies the same six ether force, each teaching that the world was created by an unseen God 6,000 years ago. The name Adam, found in their scriptures, literally relates to blood and redness. The root letters ADM, as in Adam, Edom, connect with the meanings rosy, ruddy, flushed, describing those whose pale skin shows blood beneath. This contrasts with black or brown complexions. Their own Bible, especially in Leviticus 13-14, describes conditions of leprosy and uncleanliness, though such truths are rarely taught openly. From this perspective, the so-called Adam of Genesis and the cursed line of Canaan mark the beginning of the Caucasus race. The mindset of this lineage, represented by Cain, is associated with killing and destruction. Six ether forces, when fully evolved, manifest as ghosts, which became the root of the word God in German, Gut, and Hebrew, Gad. The descendants of nine ether are the woolly-haired original people, the true Tarites. The descendants of six ether are the Celts, Mongolians, and certain native groups, who were genetically spliced and processed into existence. These beings are described as soulless ghosts, transparent, hazy, white, the last stage of color. Because the Caucasus arose through degeneration and the disease of leprosy, they retain the least amount of color. Originally Canaanites or Pleiadians, they later intermingled with other groups, adopting varied traits, yellow to red hair, blue to green eyes, and pale to cream skin tones. Our origins go back further, to the work of three geneticists, often named Adam Ray, Ainun, and Onan. These beings assisted Ra, the creative force, in shaping mortal beings. In the higher realms, known as Lahut, Malakut, and Nasut in old teachings, creation began in the etheric state and descended into physical form. In ancient Kemet, Egypt, this process was expressed as Heka, the mortal realm, Sia, the angelic realm, and Hu, the Most High. Religion, as taught later by the Caucasus world, was a distorted version of these original mysteries. While they spoke of God in heaven, they missed the deeper truth: the Creator is not in heaven but is heaven, the All itself. Ancient teachings always understood creation as a cooperative act of many beings, not the work of one solitary deity. Thus, the sun itself is a stage of manifestation, hydrogen and helium condensed from ether into matter, a personification of higher realms. Every tradition begins creation with a sun, because it is the threshold from the unseen to the seen. To see the sun is to see a doorway from the etheric to the physical. Now, why would an etheric being descend into the physical? We thought ourselves here, a mental projection of the all. Solidity is illusion, but within illusion, we learn discipline. Our fall from grace was disobedience, but also a choice, to experience, to grow, and to remember. By discipline, knowledge, and remembrance, we can think ourselves back into higher states. If you ask most scientists whether solidity is an illusion, they'll tell you yes. What we call physical reality is not truly solid, it's simply atoms in motion, vibrating together. They're not even stuck to each other, but because of our vibrational state, we perceive them as solid and real. In truth, solidity doesn't exist the way we think it does. A table, for example, feels solid because of our vibration, but at a higher vibrational level, one could walk right through it. This is why master teachers have often said things we don't fully question, such as, wherever my picture is, there I am. Many people struggle with this idea, but if you can shift into an etheric state, you can project yourself anywhere, with or without a picture. Time itself is part of this illusion. The past, present, and future all exist simultaneously in what is called the now. When you think about a place you were just before arriving here, in a sense, you're there again, because time streams remain connected. Ancient teachings remind us, if we become too focused on the past or the future, we lose sight of the only true reality, the present moment, the eternal now. Everything we experience is shaped by perception. Depending on your state of mind, you see reality differently. Words from teachers, spiritual practices, and culture all shift our vibrational level, changing how we perceive existence itself. Our perception of reality depends on our vibratory rate. If everyone in a room is able to see and interact with each other physically, it suggests we share a similar vibrational band. But that doesn't mean we're on the exact same frequency. True spiritual vision would be required to see differences. Illusion is what we call this plane. What feels real to us is actually the illusion. Higher realms are the true reality. What looks like a square here may appear completely different in the spiritual realm. Physical, ethereal, and ultimate planes all exist, but the one we're in now is not the highest reality. Life and death tie into this as well. Science tells us energy can't be created or destroyed, and since we are energy, we never truly die. Instead, we transition into other states of existence. Earth itself is like a training ground, preparing us for higher realms. Our culture guides us so that when we make that transition, we are not confused or unprepared. In the spiritual realm, beings exist who have lived for eons, beyond the concept of time. To them, their world is just as physical as this one feels to us. Without preparation, stepping into that realm would be overwhelming, just as being around people more intelligent than you can make you question everything you thought was true. This is why spiritual education is vital. It trains the mind to navigate realities beyond this one. The illusion, then, is tied to perception. Each realm has its own sense of time, its own laws, its own appearance of solidity. What we call illusion is simply the temporary perception of one plane. Reality itself is the all, the source beyond all distinctions, beyond physicality, beyond mind and body. The all is not something outside of us, we are the all, and the all is within us. Concepts like the all guide us gradually toward realizing our own unlimited nature. Just as a child is born with the potential to become many things, but only actualizes what is nurtured, so too we all carry within us the limitless potential of the all. Quantum physics introduces limitation, but beyond it lies pure potential, the state of all. Much of what keeps us bound in illusion are mental barriers, religious, cultural, psychological, racial. The process of spiritual growth is the breaking of these barriers. Give them back their stuff. Return the borrowed beliefs and concepts of others, and reclaim your original mind. Ultimately, illusion exists only on the physical plane. Beyond it is truth. The journey is about breaking limitations, returning to the all, and realizing that we already are that all.